done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. ATL bread, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. All my songs come with melody. Got the heart, got the soul like Harriet. A queen since she born, that was evident. That's evidence of black excellence. I can tell a good dog when I'm petting him. Know that if I have his tribe, he protecting them. Mother of a child of God, I invest in them. Nutrition and brown milk in them. Young Rosa, young Luther, keep marching. Floodgates coming, no, it don't stop them. I know that life, it ain't easy. Your life, it matters, believe me. Roll out the face and the fries. It's hiding behind a facade. Young girl, stay rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. You pull the hood out me, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. ATL bread, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. All my rules stay embedded in hard work, let them know ain't no trending it. Popping off on the charts, that's a better way. The popping off in the streets, ain't no checking it. I can tell a good dog when I'm hitting them. Know that if I had tried, I invest in them. Nutrition and brown milk in them. Young Rosa, young Luther, keep marching. Floodgates coming, no, it don't stop them. I know that life, it ain't easy. Your life, it matters, believe me. Roll out the face and the fries. It's hiding behind a facade. Young girl, stay rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. You pull the hood out me, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. ATL bread, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. Watch out, boy. You think you can pull me up out of my steps? Nah, me rooted in the soil. Me rooted in the melon. Young girl, stay rooted. I don't see now rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. You pull the hood out me, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. I don't plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. ATL. Me rooted in the melody. Young girl, stay rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. ATL bread, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted.
Happy days, everybody.
My songs come with melody.
How's everybody doing this beautiful afternoon? It's your girl, the lovely Irutan here on Let's Pop with Irutan.
That's evidence of black excellence. I can tell it.
Coming back with another conversation packed to her with.
His tribe, he protecting them. Mother of a child of God, I invest in them. Nutrition and brown milk in them. Young Rosa, young Luther, keep marching. Floodgates coming, no, it don't stop them. I know that life, it ain't easy. Your life, it matters, believe me. Roll out the face and the fries. It's hiding behind a facade. Young girl, stay rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. You pull the hood out me, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me live on TikTok. Welcome on X, on YouTube, listening on the network. Remember, as I always say, it's always about redefining Africa.
Stay embedded in hard work.
Because you are the change you need to see in the world.
Been off on the charts, that's a better win.
Happy new month, everybody.
Streets ain't no checking it. I can tell a good dog when I'm petting him. Know that if I have his tribe, he protecting them. Mother of a child of God, I invest in them. Nutrition and brown milk in them. Young Rosa, young Luther, keep marching. Floodgates coming, no, it don't stop them. I know that life, it ain't easy. Your life, it matters, believe me. Roll out the face and the front, hide it behind a facade. Young girls stay rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. You pull the hood out me, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted. I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. ATL bread, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted.
Remember to follow me on all the social media platforms, to follow the Black Hot Fire Network on all the social media platforms here.
Watch out, boy! You think you can pull me up out
For amazing, uplifting, empowering conversation.
rooted in the soil?
It was about African identity, learning about the African history, relearning and learning in regards to who we are.
Pull the hood out me, I'm rooted.
Because you are the change you need to see in the world. It's the second date of October for winning here.
Brown skin popping,
You can always come back from anything, as I always say.
I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head rooted.
Yes, massive wagwan. As the Robin said, we can brother they are. Reaching out to all massive African continents and introduce you to.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk with Eriton. I hope you had a beautiful evening last night and basically waking up to another day to redefine it here. Welcome to Let's Talk with Eriton. You're going to start basically another conversation, continuing with the conversation that I started on Monday. That was on Let's Talk with Eriton. But today we're going to dive deeper also to why the US is offering seats to Africa at the UN. Why the United States is offering seats to Africa at the UN. But before we start with that, remember to download our app on Google Store, stream on www.blackhotfirenetwork.com for amazing conversation. Anything you'll find it in regards to what we talk about here on the Black Hot Fire Network, and also on the app on the Google Store, guys. It's free. Guys, live on TikTok, hearing me on YouTube, you can definitely download this also on the radio network, and it's free to download this app. On it, you'll find on the start section of the app, you'll find the VHFN Sports Store tab. When you click on it, another tab will appear where it's gonna basically lead you to another page where you'll find amazing healthy supplements to basically help you feel rejuvenated, revitalized. The guys are basically working out. The ladies on their journey to their hair growth journey. You want to have stronger nails, glowing skin, kindly log to the app. You'll find amazing supplements. You can buy one for your loved one, for your mother, for your man, for your sister, a friend, definitely. It's always about the alkaline diet here on the Black Hot Fire Network. We're going to talk about why the US is offering seats to Africa at the UN as we dissect this topic and basically understand why now, after 80 years, this happened in regards to basically giving the African leaders actually two seats or two positions at the UN Security Council. And I hope basically it has, or basically it'll come with the veto powers or the status that they can basically offer something or basically add something to this council. But before we start with that, we have a conversation that I know a lot of people would not understand, or basically they don't really understand more about Gaddafi, right? But I want to start in a short conversation. This is Dr. Ari Khanna basically unmasking the secret behind Gaddafi's betrayal, the NATO and the African Union role. Let's dive deep into this.
And I have some properties left in Victoria Falls, actually, in Zimbabwe.
Beautiful place.
Yes. I have two questions. First question is, I loved Gaddafi. I know it's very controversial to say that. There was no employment.
We also get is kind of a controversial conversation, but I basically, and I have my points in regards to Gaddafi, but a lot of people basically do not understand where this guy was coming from in regards to like he didn't like Africans at all.
And the country was having a positive balance, as an economy. And when outside forces came in, African Union did not do anything. That was sad. An African leader was taken on the streets and killed. What are you going to do as African Union to get some teeth in the defense processes of the continent? That's the first question.
I'm glad you asked that question. And if the truth be told, the African Union was not pleased with the manner in which the UN Security Council voted to take out Saddam in the manner that they did. The African Union had a plan. President Zuma of South Africa, had already accepted him for asylum. Plans were underway to talk to Gaddafi for him to move to South Africa. So yes, the decision to take out Gaddafi went against the wishes of the African Union. We wished things had been handled a little differently. You're quite right. I think, but when you're coming up against more powerful forces, again, it goes back to Africa taking its rightful place on the world stage. But AU was clearly opposed to the manner in which Gaddafi was taken out.
Yeah, I believe Dr. Ari Khanna is basically giving us pointers in regards to, first of all, the understanding that which people have this understanding about Gaddafi. He had an amazing strategy to develop Libya and everything. That's what people really see. But behind it, what I know about it, or basically Gaddafi literally did a lot of wicked things to a lot of African people. And that was basically not really mentioned at all, which does not pardon him, because it basically defined like he didn't like Africans at all. And pointing out the fact that he was developing Libya, making it a better country, right? It actually blinded a lot of people in regards to who he was in regards to the fact about who Gaddafi was.
Without a plan for replacement, which is what led us to the Libya that we have today.
My second question, black racism on white. I've seen farms being taken over by Mugabe forces, the ZANU-PF people. What is the African Union doing when we talk about racism from Africa and we bash colonists, and we actually are doing that to their citizens right there? What are you going to do to recompensate and rehabilitate those citizens who have been there for 4 generations, 5 generations? What is African Union going to do for that?
Okay, I like the fact that you're putting a timeline there. See, with history, we have a tendency to say, well, let's start the story from here moving forward. But let's not talk about the story going back.
Does this kind of ring a bell in regards to the African history that I always talk about? It's exactly what Dr. Ari Khanna is basically pointed at right now. We never start the story from how it actually started, but from the middle part of it, which a lot of people have fed a lot of information about who we are, the educational system, about the civilization of Africa, about the kingdoms that Africa had.
Okay, I like the fact that you're putting a timeline there. See, with history, we have a tendency to say, well, let's start the story from here moving forward. But let's not talk about the story going back. In Zimbabwe, you have to say, how did we get there? Let me take 1 minute and summarize it for you. When the British came to Zimbabwe, they analyzed the country and divided it into 4 regions. Region 1 was the best soil, the best rains, best conditions for farming. Region 2, pretty close to Region 1. Region 3, there were some areas there, the soil was not so good and the rain was good, but not the best. Region 4, no rain. The soil was horrible, mosquitoes and flies. So they set out a plan. If you were an adventurous British, a veteran of the First or Second World War, you were guaranteed 2,000 hectares. Hectares, multiply 2,000 by 2.2. You were guaranteed that much in Zimbabwe, plus any loot from the local people. So a British man would land in Zimbabwe. So based on the regions that they had decided, they were going to move all the black people, preferably from the region 1 and 2 to region 4. So the process started. And how did a British map up their land? You got on a horse, they'll tell you this region. Get on a horse and you ride in one direction for a day until either you or your horse were tired. You put your bag. Tomorrow morning you do the same thing. So it took 4 days for the Englishman to map up his land. At the end of the 4 days, everything in it is yours. And the people who lived on that land were told in this direction, go past this mountain. In this direction, go past this river. They left with whatever they could carry. The chickens, the goats, the cows, they were theirs. And some of them were not so lucky. You barely settled again when another Englishman came and he was given that part. And there you were again. Slowly the process of moving black people to the west parts of the country started, and it was finally completed in the 50s. Now, you want to ask.
We're talking about this conversation on Monday. We're talking about the African media being censored by the United States, and we came to a conclusion in regards to the fact that a lot of people are basically giving their pointers on that debate, and which is basically a fact. And basically, I can understand that this ideology that Africans cannot think for themselves, right? And that's why we were not given a seat at this UN Security Council. And now, all of a sudden, we have 2 seats at the UN Security Council in regards to why now after 80 years. You basically can figure out why now, right? And the fact that if the positions that Africa has been given in the UN Security Council, does it have veto powers in regards, do we have any powers to basically come up with a motion, and basically it can be pushed for the purpose that we're there? Because if we do not have any purpose in regards to coming up with any idea or basically motion to be pushed in whatever motion that is brought up, there is basically no reason for us to be there. It's basically for us, again, to be taken as fools again.
Ask me, who needs to be compensated? Are you with me?
Yes.
So we got to go to the beginning rather than understanding things superficially. How did you get your hand? It just goes about how fast you could go. Some of these farmers were owning 5, 6, 7 farms. I know my family farm, and I grew up hearing the story from my own father. When the situation took place in the case of my father, he remembers distinctly he was a teenager. And he used to, when white men came to Africa with their pants, they called them men without knees.
Hello, Mr. Blackwood Fire. How are you doing?
What's going on every time? What are we talking
I'm
about
good.
here?
We're talking about why the United States is offering seats to Africa at the UN. But before that, I was starting with Dr. Arikana unmasking the secret behind Gaddafi's betrayal, because a lot of people are basically twisted with the Gaddafi story. They just know basically about the development that he brought to Libya and the good things that is basically showcased to us. They basically do not dive deeper to understand that Gaddafi really did not like Africans at all.
Yeah, that's what I told. That's why I was telling your friend that Gaddafi
Yeah.
did. Gaddafi. Those lands are stolen, guys. I know you guys. The education in Africa is so bad that you don't even know that the lands that you look and see Egypt, Morocco, Libya, Algeria, and Tunisia. Those lands are stolen. Those are African people's lands. Those people up there, you said those are invaders. They stole those lands and killed African people and enslaved, either murdered or enslaved them, and then make them, then force them to be their goofy religion, just like the other white man. They force to be Muslims. Muhammad will die. Oh, damn, I don't want to die, but I really don't want this Muhammad guy either. But goddamn,
Right.
go ahead, here, Tom.
So that's what I was talking about. But it's sad that the only good things that are showcased, which he did for the development of the country which he was leading, of course, he has to do good by it. But he didn't
Well, he
like
did good, but
it.
well, his people, the Africans, are not the majority of the country. Though he did good for his people. That's good.
Yeah.
Those are his
Hmm.
people who invaded. He was a good leader for his people, and
Yeah.
that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's the bad thing. Bad that he stole the land. You know, they wanted Africa under their rule, Iraton.
Yes.
They don't want Africa for the Africans. They want Africans for them.
Hmm.
You see what he did with Libya. Libya's not as rich as the rest of Africa, but see what he did with the wealth he just had of Libya, and made a paradise for his people. Free education, free education as far as you wanted to go, Iraton. You wanted to be anything, they paid for it. Free housing, not no slums like Cabana, nice ass homes, right? There wasn't no slums back then in Libya. There are
Yeah.
now, but back then wasn't no slums. You had free housing. You also got money when you got married, and then also you got an allowance every month from the oil wealth of the country. So you
Right.
got an allowance every month from
Hmm.
Gaddafi
Right.
just for being in Libya. So you know you had free medical. Your medical was free with advanced hospitals. But all Africans can do this in their countries.
Yes.
They're time. It's just the
Hmm.
fact they're all bootlickers, and white people control the countries. They don't want
Yes.
black people to do that. So I always ask the African, why do you think when you see white people in your countries that they live better than you? How's this
Hmm.
white person living better than you in Africa?
Right.
Where did their wealth come from? It came from you. It's your
What?
stolen wealth. You're
Yeah.
living in Kiberas. They're living in nice homes in Kenya. and you
Yeah.
and you and you went around worshiping these people. Oh, the white man is so great. Like Joby said with South Africa, you gotta get ready to
Right.
smack a motherfucker in the mouth.
Hmm.
We go ahead, Todd. You got.
Right. Before you go back, it's why do you think the U.S. or the United States definitely is offering seats to Africa at the UN right now?
Because
Along
first it's tokenism because the Africans have realized that Africans have been kept dumb for so long, Airtime. That's why you said their relationship is eternal because the Europeans have been like they're adults and you're a child. But the youth are waking up in Africa, Airtime. The youth like you and the younger generations are starting to realize their mamas and grandmamas were stupid. Sadly enough. So they don't want to be patronized anymore. They're starting to
right.
realize that Africa's wealth, they've been told, they look at Europe and say, oh, Europe is so developed, Asia's so developed. But they're starting to know that that wealth came from where they're at.
Mm,
So that's a danger to white people. White people must divide you. That's why you got that tribalism shit. They must divide and give you different religions and keep you fighting over shit that don't matter. So
right.
they see that the African is waking up. And that's a threat to their power globally.
Yeah.
Without Africa, white people are poor here time.
Yeah.
That if you when you start coming to that conclusion, and then now you're willing to fight for what's yours, you're not going to be a coward anymore.
Right.
That's a dangerous. That's the end of white society and white supremacy. That's the end of white civilization
Mm-hmm.
because theirs is based on the theft of Africa, the ignorance of Africa. So yeah, so now that's like so I'm gonna give you little breadcrumbs every time to pretend to be your friend. I'm not your friend. I'm hoping that you're stupid enough, you know. Let's say every time, okay, you're the master, right? And I'm your slave, right?
Yeah.
So if you bitch, this motherfucking slave and these people can overtake me. So what you gonna do? Say I'm gonna try to be a little. Now I don't want to be equal to me, but this is what I'm gonna do. I had them living outside in the doghouse, all fucked up, getting rained on. What I'm gonna do? I'm saying, hey, slave, I'm gonna invite you into one of the rooms in the house. You be like, whoa, yeah, not knowing you're supposed to own the whole goddamn house every time.
Right, right.
I'm gonna allow you to get to go in one of the rooms. So I'm hoping that you say you'll be so happy. I let you come in one of the rooms. You'll start loving on me, like, oh, he's so good guy. Like, you'll still be my slave, not knowing that the whole house belongs to you.
Right.
Not just this funky ass room over to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what they're doing to the African. They're trying to give them like bread. They call giving somebody breadcrumbs, but they didn't give them like any power. They didn't give them veto power to like
Mm-hmm.
stop anything that's bad. So
Yeah.
it's like it's tokenism. It's like giving somebody in the room of the house that's supposed to be yours to begin with.
But the
It's
thing is,
tokenism.
they're making decision concerning Africa, right?
Of course, they're making decisions because the
Yeah.
Africans don't have any power. Africans were conquered irritant, so you don't have any power. And so then, and these puppets that they put in
Mm-hmm.
charge, they're not there to get any power for Africa because
Right.
power is not given irritant. Power is taken. No one's going to
That's.
give you power irritant. It's going to be taken. That's what
Mm-hmm.
Ibrahim Toure did. That's why he wanted. You got to take that. Kenyans. That's what the Kenyans were doing in the street, trying to take power. You got to take power. Power's like I'm not going to give you power to make me poor every time. When they
Yeah.
came, when the Europeans came into Africa, even though there was enough to share, Africans are kind. They didn't come and say, well, you Africans got so much shit, so much abundance. Can you share with us? They said they didn't come say that. They said, fuck that. You niggas got everything and we want it. We're
Yeah.
gonna take it. We're gonna take it. Then we're gonna rename shit after us. Lake
Mm-hmm.
Victoria, Victoria Falls, Johannesburg. We're gonna name shit European names. Not only are we gonna take your shit, we're gonna name it after us.
After us,
Yeah, that's power. Then we're gonna get you to worship a goopy
and then
religion that ain't even real.
this.
Then I'm gonna get you to worship a goopy religion that ain't even real, and you'll fight each other to keep the goopy religion that I gave you. And every text will tell you that I forced this religion on you. That's what the history will tell you. When you go, hey, the white man said, make these niggas worship this shit, blah, blah. It's right there in the text. But now that you so indoctrinated with this fake religion, you'll fight me for telling you that the religion is fake. So you spend your whole life instead of fighting the white man who fucked you up, stole all your shit, get your fake religion. You'll fight me with bringing you the truth. So those, which Dr. Eric Collins says is the most
Mm-hmm.
dangerous thing as an African with a colonized mind. Right, you put a bullet in his head and keep it moving. I can't salvage you. You're dangerous because you'll work
Right.
with the white man because you say you're friends in Christ, friends in Allah, and you'll work against me, and I got to get rid of your ass. I'm trying to get free, so I get other Africans free. So I can't fight you and the white man. I can't fight both of you. So I got to get rid of your ass. You are a danger to other Africans because your mind is colonized. You're dangerous.
Right.
You're fighting to keep the system of your colonizer going. You're dangerous. So I can't. I love you. I still got to put a bullet in your head. I got to get rid of you. You no such thing as
Because
death.
you're welcome.
You'll come back. You'll come back every time. But first you got to get this bullet.
Not good.
He remembers men without knees coming to the village on horses. There was some hush hush talk. He didn't know what was going on. But he remembers waking up one morning and the whole village was on fire.
But we
Yep.
should
Oh,
demand that we
whole,
should
vi-
have
whole,
power.
whole village on fire coming. They came and just burned your shit down to the ground. See, Sister Ericana, Dr. Ericana's from Zimbabwe. How they stole all the good land, put black people on fuck. Same thing they did in Kenya. They did in Kenya. They did everywhere they went in Africa. Stole all your good land, put you on fucked up land that wasn't able to farm on it, but they stole. Then had you the land that they stole had you come back and work on their land as slaves and make them wealthy. You're talking about psycho. This is a psychopath, and then indoctrinated you to love them. You got Africans that are loving people, like Dark. You're loving people who killed your fucking family, stole your land, and you said, oh, they're the Jesus, they're the angels, because your mind is fucked up. You're colonized in the head. You're dangerous. You're dangerously fucked up in the head. And that's what Africans are fighting the colonized mindset. Because you still worship these people who stole your land, not just stole your land, raped your women, brutally raped for going on airtime. See, they're not gonna write about the real history, the rape, the pillage,
Right.
the
That's why
destruction.
a lot of people do not know about this information, kid.
Of course, I'm not gonna put it. Of course, I'm not gonna put in no book for you to. I'm not gonna put in none of your history books. Your education is controlled by me, Eartown. Exactly. Joby did a story about, I think it was like 2 years ago, how Ghana was saying, listen, we got to change our educational system. We got to start telling the truth about the
Hmm.
rape, the brutality. And the white man said, nigga, you bet not. And they scrapped that book. They said they were going to change the educational system in Ghana to try to reflect the truth. Joby
Right.
was reading an article. And the next day, the white man said, nigga, you bet not. And they said, oh, well, we're not going to be able to change the educational system, Iraton,
Yeah.
because if you knew this, you wouldn't be sitting in no church worshiping none of this shit. You wouldn't be doing none the brutality that was brought to you. It's Iraton, they would hang 7-year-old children in Africa who refused to worship this Jesus. They would hang them. Children! And you telling me that's supposed to be godly? Bringing you a God? They would hang children, Iraton. Because the children, like, I don't know what this is. I don't want to accept this. We have our own spirituality. Say, no, nigga, you do this and this is going to be the consequence. They refuse. They don't know who this cracker is. So they were hung. That's right. That's not in your books. These are facts. You know? And the raping of African women. I think so many mulattoes run around Africa. I think all these mulattoes just got in Africa. You
Right.
think that and the black woman just sleep with crackers? No. They're raping black women brutally.
Right.
So that's not taught. So now you see Africans in there talking about worshiping some white man and loving white people more than they love their own people. It's the funniest thing, Irritating, because
I get
it
it.
used to bother me. It used to bother me, right? Because I was young when I first started going to Africa. I was young, 21,
Okay.
22, and it would bother me that I would see white people in Ghana or Nigeria, or Kenya, wherever I was at, especially South Africa. That's just given. South in Namibia, that's just given, right? That was a given. But
Yeah.
I would see black people treat white people better than they treated me. They would knock me out the way to get to some cracker and treat them. I was like, wow. You know, I'd have as much because we all learning it. I'd have as much knowledge.
Yeah.
I was naive. I was almost I wasn't as naive as you. I knew the religion was a lot, but I was still naive. I was still learning here at time at 21, right? I
Okay.
was like, I was like, wow,
Wow.
this is fucked up. Yeah, I was imagine. Okay, here time my head was in a fucked up space, right?
Right.
Because I don't know yet I don't know how to process what I'm
Right.
looking at. I'm not able to. I don't have enough education yet, here time, to process what I'm looking at yet. I said they're treating white people better than they treat me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
African. I didn't understand the colonized mindset yet. And I knew it was in America because we dealt with slavery. I didn't know. See, that's why I knew colonization, but I didn't know how brutal it was yet. I didn't
Right.
know it was just like slavery. I didn't know how brutal and dehumanizing it was. I didn't know none of that. And I didn't know the Africans, didn't know no African history. I didn't know they
Okay.
didn't know shit about Africa. That really fucked. So man, that really, I'm in Africa, and Africans don't know shit about Africa. So you imagine how that fucked me up?
Definitely.
You know,
course. Of
yeah, you know
course.
how that messed me up. Yeah, ain't no any history about no Africa. I like it,
And you're
and,
an African.
yeah, and I'm in Africa. I'm like, what? Because I didn't know about the colonial. I didn't know about the educational. I didn't know about the educational system yet. Here, time.
Right.
I should have known that, but I didn't know the white man had put the educational system had been torn down. I didn't know nothing yet. I was just in a strange headspace.
Right.
Strange, or what they can say, I was tripping without being on drugs. Every time I don't do drugs, so I was tripping without the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I was tripping without the drugs, not without or without the alcohol, because I don't drink either.
Yeah.
So I was in a fucked up headspace. I was like, cause I seen this.
What's
I seen
happening?
this. What'd you say? What'd you say, every time?
You were like, what's happening? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in a fucked up headspace because I'm seeing the Africans so docile,
Mm-hmm.
white people talking to them crazy. Because I be quiet whenever I go someplace. I shut my mouth because I don't
Okay.
know shit yet. I be
Okay.
quiet. I just observe like I'm an anthropologist. I keep my mouth shut. I just want to be quiet and soak everything in. So I shut. So I, and I talk a lot, so it's hard for me to shut my damn mouth. So I
Yeah.
shut my mouth. I just look.
Okay.
So I wanna observe everything. So I'm observing. I'm like, wow. Because white people talk to black people crazy in Africa. And I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I'm like, I said, well, okay, maybe this just Ethiopia and Ghana. That went to Nigeria, the same thing.
Right.
Then I got to South Africa. It was on steroids.
Okay.
See, I keep my mouth shut because they got a lot of mixed. People think, people can tell I'm not mixed because of my features. I still African. I got the African hair, so I just keep my mouth shut. And I'm in South Africa right after they got independence, where that fake independence, because I wanted to see it for myself, right? Nelson
Mm-hmm.
Mandela and all that. I'm all caught up in that bullshit too. I'm all
Right.
caught up in it. I want to go to South Africa and Namibia, Eritrea. Yeah, Africans getting free. That's right. Revolution. Yeah. I'm all
Yeah.
propagandized too. I get there, and it's the most disrespectful shit. I told you, I, I cried.
Mm.
My heart was broken so much. That's why Joby get mad when I talk about. My heart was so. I don't think I even told Joby this shit. My heart was so broken. I was so fucked up inside. I was
Right.
so emotionally broken, Irritant. I was so emotionally broken. I'm be honest. I think I was like
Right.
23. I think I was like 23. I was emotionally fucked up
Right.
because the amount of contempt and disrespect that white people gave that black people there, it was just, I couldn't process that shit. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, this must have been what my ancestors went through right after slavery, because I compared it to what we went through after slavery, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I was. That's something I can compare to the disrespect, the openly talking to them crazy in their face. Hey, you dad, get over here and get this plate up. Get your
Mm-hmm.
ass. I don't. Joby knows how to do them South African accents. I can't do that.
Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do that shit. Get over here and get the plate. You heard me talking to you. I'm like, what? What the fuck?
Mm.
And my African Americanness made me want to erupt and smack this white woman right across her motherfucking mouth.
Right.
The fuck are you talking to? But I couldn't do that because it wasn't my place. I was
Yeah.
an African in a strange African country. Now, I would, cause I didn't know if I would have got smacked this woman in the head, that African who she talked to crazy would have came after me every time,
Are
right?
you so sure? That would
Because she,
happen.
because she was used to being mistreated. She
Yeah.
was used to being disrespected. And so I didn't know. And so then every time a family invited me to their house, I was
Mhm.
like, cool, because I was talking to them. And everybody's, I hate to tell, I know y'all get mad. Everybody's always fascinated with black Americans. I hate to tell you, that's just a fact. I know people get mad.
Okay.
So they got fascinated. You from black, you're black American, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but I'm no different than you. I'm African, right?
Mhm.
I'm African
Yeah.
like you. You know, you look, if you take out blood and put it underneath a damn microscope, we're brothers, okay? He said, well, we would like to invite you back to our house for just to meet our parents and the village. I was like, cool. I felt all honored of this shit every time. I felt all honored. I felt all honored. I said, wow, this is quite an honor. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So,
Mhm. Did you
so
go?
yeah, of course I went. Every time I was in love with, of course I
Yeah.
went.
Mhm.
But
What
every time
happened?
when I, every time when I went, I was so fucked up in the head. I've seen poverty in America, but I've never seen this kind of poverty, Eric. It was
Okay.
so
Okay.
shocked. You, you know when you come upon, but you don't want to be rude to people every time. That's
Of
why you got to
course.
keep your mouth shut again. You show
Yeah.
like shocked. You're shocked,
Yeah.
and you know if you say anything, you're gonna hurt the people that
Mhm.
invited you there, right?
Yeah.
So I went there, Eric. Let me say, Eric. I've never seen this kind of extreme. I've never been to Quebec, I've been back, but I've
Yeah.
never seen this kind of poverty in my life. I
Okay.
mean, because it was such a okay. Imagine this, Earton, the dichotomy. I was in Cape Town, and imagine a place that is architecturally, um, development rich,
Yeah.
right? That's highly developed, right?
Right.
And then I go to this other place, and it's like from another world. It's like I'm a space alien being beamed down into some crazy shit. That's all I can say. Like I'm coming from another, I'm being beamed into another planet. And so I'm in there, and they don't got no running water. They don't got no open. They got open sewages. I'm
Mhm.
smelling shit. I'm smelling shit and piss.
Mhm.
I'm like, man, this is some cholera shit. I'm all in my mind. I'm not saying it out loud.
Right.
I'm in my head. I'm in my head talking. I'm
Right.
like, this is some cholera shit. Oh man, I'm saying in my mind, I don't know if I can eat this shit. They want to cook me.
Wow.
I don't want to exactly here, Tom. Now I'm caught between a rock and a hard place
Right.
because I don't want to be rude, but I'm like I don't want to be fucked up dead either.
They wouldn't do that to you.
Of course, not on purpose, every time, but they used to living like that. They don't mean to fuck me up, but if they got open sewages, that's what happens every time. But you can't
No.
cook food by open sewages and shit. Have piss and shit running around you
Yeah, I
like
agree.
in that Canberra shit. They be
Yeah.
cooking and selling shit. I can't eat that shit. You got me
Yeah.
fucked up.
Mhm.
Because I know, so that's what's going through my head here as I walk through. I'm looking at, and everybody's greeting me. Everybody's just so nice here. Everybody's
Okay.
nice. So I can't say nothing about that what Joey said. They were so nice, meet me. I felt like one of the I felt loved here. I'm not going. I felt overwhelmingly loved. I shouldn't have said that because Joey used that shit. Hopefully she's not in there. She'll use
Right.
that shit against me. I felt overwhelmingly loved. Right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was. I felt
Mhm.
almost overwhelmingly loved. It was beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So we get there, we get inside the house, and it's to my standards, it's fucked up, but I can't say that. I'm just being nice. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, it's nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I said, nothing has changed for African people. This is some bullshit here. I'm not telling them that. It's in my
Yeah.
head, Erica, and I'm still
Yeah.
in my head because I don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
I said, man, this is fucked up. This is some bullshit. We're in Africa. Look the way we live, man. Look at this, man. Did we ever get any justice? Did we ever? Is anything ever come out right for us?
Mm.
And so They feed me something. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a picky eater anyway, irritant. I don't like a lot of shit. That has nothing to do with other people. I just don't like a lot of shit.
Okay.
Especially like no shit I don't know what I'm eating.
Right.
I'm picky. I don't got a strong stomach. If I eat some weird shit, I'll be on the toilet or throwing up. So I know. So in my mind, I said, man, should I eat this shit? It's all kind of doo-doo and shit outside, piss. I said, let's go and do it, Keith. If you got to go to the hospital, you got money. You can go to the good. I said, you go to the good hospital. You ain't
Okay.
got to go where they. You ain't got to go where they go. You go to the good hospital. That's
Okay.
fucked up. That's fucked up, here, Thomas. That's what went through my head.
Right.
So I'm eating the shit, and like overwhelming emotions came up in me. Oh, I was overwhelmed, right?
Okay.
Eh, Yeah, I was overwhelmed because I was eating. Because it was like I like it. It's not like it was my first time in Africa, but it was my first time in South Africa. And I'm
That.
eating. Yeah, it's my first time in South Africa, and I'm eating. I get this overwhelming sense of like I don't know sorrow. You ever
Mm-hmm.
you ever have an emotion ton of sorrow and joy at the same time,
Sure.
and you don't know how to express it. So I was sorrowful, but I was joyful too,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew I was gonna break down and cry, but I didn't want to cry in front of these people. You know, they wouldn't know what the fuck is going on. So I excused myself. I went outside and I cried. I cried inside. I didn't want to, I don't want to be making no noise, but tears came down my face, and I
Okay.
was so fucking hurt. I was so fucking hurt.
Did you eat whatever they gave you?
Yeah. I ate it. I wasn't crying about the food every time. I ate in the process of eating the food. I was
Yeah.
crying about the surroundings every time. The
Okay.
African people, no matter where we found ourselves, because I look at, I've been around the world at the time. Where we found ourselves, we've been oppressed so much,
Yeah.
so that we've accepted this fucked up lifestyles,
That is
and
true.
we've accepted this. I was like, because I was just saying they've accepted this fate every time. But I mean,
Yeah.
black people have grace, so they accept it gracefully. So me, like I said, I got this overwhelming fucked up emotion,
Right.
and so I had to excuse myself. I'm about to cry right now. I just coming back. I got tears in my eyes right now talking about this shit, like I'm
Wow.
there again. Oh yeah, I
Wow.
got tears in my eyes right now.
Right.
So shit, damn. Excuse me.
What was
Um,
that? Like kind of like contemplating about it, bringing
yeah,
back all.
yeah. It's all in my memories,
Yeah.
and so I stepped outside, and I was like,
What?
God damn, what? I said, damn, we just been conquered by barbarians. This is so wicked to live in these kind of conditions. It's inhumane. Because the
Mhm.
poverty in Africa, is inhumane. It's on a level that's
Right.
I ain't gotta tell you. You've been.
I know.
It's on a level that's
Yes.
inhumane.
Yes.
It's diabolical. It's
Right.
like it's like fuck you niggas and die kind of poverty, right? It's that
Right.
kind of fuck you niggas and hurry up and die kind of shit. Um, damn. And so I went back in. He said, "Well, yeah." He asked me, "Did you go to the outhouse?" No, the outhouse was disgusting. No, I can't. No. I said, "No, I just had to get some air." Damn sure you've done the outhouses. I would have did what Joey said, one of them flying toilet things.
Right. Yeah.
I wasn't going to the outhouse irritant. It was quite despicable. So, but I'm just saying what they're kind of saying right. The the Europeans when they came in Africa, they were brutal with their conquering, and
Mhm.
they meant to keep Africans in this perpetual state of dehumanizing poverty.
Yes. Poverty.
Dehumanizing poverty, not just poverty, because we've all been poor.
Facts.
Africans are poor everywhere, but there's different dehumanizing poverty. We don't even have running water, and you have
Okay.
dehumanizing shit, and that's supposed
You
you're
good?
supposed to get. Yeah, can you hear me? and
Yes.
you're supposed to get comfortable in this. That's supposed to become normal. You're supposed to get comfortable in this disrespect.
Facts.
All right. So I'm just going to Erica, but like I said, in the restaurants, I just the disrespect. They say it's just as bad. I ain't been in some years, but I think it's a little worse then because they were just coming out of it. It was the disrespect Erica was
Hmm.
so
In your
overwhelming.
yeah.
It was it was in my face, but it was so overwhelming to me. I
Mm,
just I'm not gonna lie, Erica. I wanted to go up and choke a cracker to death.
right.
I wanted to go hurt somebody. Just like the time when I was in, I'm like, this is like the time I was in Tanzania, and this
Mm,
Indian, we were standing in this queue. I got in the back of the line, and this Indian walked right in front of all the Africans and got in front. The Africans didn't say shit. I just assumed maybe one of the Africans was his friend up there, airtime, and he was holding his space in the line. He had to go do something. Say, man, I got you. You come back, get your space, right? No, this is the Indian of the African is so docile, so loving that he just walked in from. And my mind, irritant, I couldn't fathom this. I got that aggressive nature again. So I said, hey, this what only a few guys spoke English. I said, hey, did somebody hold this Indian place? Because Joby told me they do that in Nairobi when white people just want to just get in front of you at the grocery stores and shit like that. Motherfucker,
right.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you. You got, boy, what? What?
The
Listen,
power of identity with African, and that's why it's so
yeah,
important to
yeah.
go
So,
because no one is gonna
exactly.
teach this to you in schools. Nobody's gonna kind of
No,
like teach
it's been the European has been brilliant in brainwashing the African on the continent. It's been brilliant. Because when I went
mm,
to, I told that Indian, I know he spoke English. They almost speak English. I said, hey, if you don't get the back of this line, I'm gonna beat you to death. And so when he
wow.
heard my American accent, he knew I wasn't Tanzania. He knew I meant business.
Right.
see, they talk to us. I hate to tell you guys, they talk to us differently than they do you guys. Even though we're all Africans, they don't talk to us the way they talk to you. They know we completely different. As soon as they hear
Mm,
that American accent, they know that we're not fucking around with them.
right.
They know. Because when I had Joby and Katie down in Tanzania in the house,
Mm,
because I taught them, you don't allow no one to disrespect you, and white people will try to disrespect you. And so
right.
Katie and Joby, this white man on the house tried to disrespect them every time. And so they got after them, and the white man said, these girls must have lived in America or something. They must get taught by black Americans. They must have lived in America.
Right.
Because usually Africans, they allow white people to talk to them like shit, treat them like
Mm,
shit. But go ahead, finish what she said every time.
alrighty. As we're almost winding up, guys, I can
Yeah.
see Jibber Jabber. Thank you for joining. I can see Byron's card. Thank you for joining. And also, Joel, thank you for
George
joining.
got George
Uh-huh.
got when you been George I ain't seen on the show in a while. What they got you doing? Is your Jamaican family beating your ass up in Canada? What's going on, George? What's happening? What's happening? Are they telling you to take your ass back to goddamn Jamaica? Talk to us.
And also, I think it's a he or she. She said, Keith, it's called platitudes. Wording
So,
specifically
what now?
platitude.
What happened?
That's the comment there.
What did he
Keith, it's
say?
called platitude.
Oh yeah,
Wording
yes,
specifically,
woman.
yeah, derives for the Black, African, and diaspora nation of men. Meaning, small talk can give for a people easily pleased. Think of their audacity of it.
Yeah, yeah, that it
Audacity.
is. It is the audacity. Yeah, 'cause I never been so proud of Joby and Katie at that time because they
Yeah.
called me when the white man was talking crazy to them. I said, listen, they paid for something. You're sitting there disrespecting them because you're African. I said,
Mm,
you're a German. I said, you're a white man and African. You know, you expected these girls to be docile, and they're not. And they're only fighting for what's rightfully theirs, what they
mm-hmm.
rightfully paid for. but you wanted to treat them like shit, and they refused to be treated like shit, and now you're all fucked up. He's
Yeah.
like, well, I said, so what you're gonna do? You're gonna refund these girls their money
Hmm.
so they can leave, so that so they can leave your place.
Yeah.
I did. You got some shit in Africa. It's bad anyway. Your racist ass. I said, you're gonna refund their money because what they pay for, you don't want to get. And first of all, you want to shout to Joby and them. They knew that the white man wanted to gawk at their asses. They wanted to use them as sexual objects, so they knew that. I didn't know Joby and them would know that, but that was true too. But yeah, that's real, Irritant. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. They wanted to. So, um, nasty old crackers. So, 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 um, you must, you gotta treat people how to treat you guys.
Yeah. Of
Teach people how
course.
to treat you. So the
Nobody
African
should
hasn't done that.
disrespect at all. Nobody
You
should.
allow you don't allow no one to disrespect you, Irritant.
Yes. In
And
your
that's
own land, mostly? No.
and in your own land. That's become that's what's happened
Become
because the
super
African is a
normal.
say again, Irritant.
It's become super normal because of
Yes,
the organization of the mind, the inferiority complex that
yes,
they're
yes,
betters, the way they can just basically go ahead and get away with anything, right?
yes, yes. And that's what exactly. And you don't allow anybody to treat you like shit here. In your own.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. I'm in Africa. I'm in this restaurant. I'm looking at these black people getting talked to crazy. And I know it's one thing. That's how these white people they like to call everybody lazy. Man, they call African Americans lazy. I heard the white people call these South Africans are lazy. These are motherfuckers that built the country. They're doing all the work while you're sitting here. Now, the white people are lazy people. They haven't built shit. How can a slave be lazy? They working you to death.
Right.
African people. So they were gonna come to me and call the South African lazy. They're the ones doing all the work.
Mm.
So you couldn't keep because I had a sense of self, as Irritan said. I knew who I was. I know
Yeah.
those people were me. So you weren't gonna have me divide and conquer, call them lazy. Well, I see you the one, all the white people sitting down because they stole all the money out of South Africa, living a good life, sitting there drinking nice drinks, while all the Africans are working. All the white people were sitting there calling the Africans lazy, who were doing all the work every time. Oh, these South Africans are lazy, man. They're just lazy. But all the South Africans every time was sitting there, trying to get drinks, eating their lunches. Them wasn't doing no work. Because you better believe everybody in there that was serving white people were all Africans every time. There was not one white server in there. Everywhere I went, from Cape Town to Johannesburg, everybody serving. It might be a little bit different now, but back
Right.
then, in the beginning of their independence, everybody serving was black, serving
Right.
white people, and it pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, being quiet, it pissed me because I remember some South African lady. You look very angry. What's wrong with you? I said, oh, I do, yeah. Okay, because I'm sitting there observing. I guess it was on my face. It's written all over my face every time. Because I'm seething inside. I'm mad than a motherfucker, right?
Right.
And she said, "Excuse me, sir. What is wrong with you?" I said, "Huh?" I said, "Huh?" Because I guess she just said, "You look very angry. Is something wrong with your? Is something wrong with your drink?" I said, oh, no. The drink is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the American. He said, oh, you're the American. I said, yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm American.
Accent is fantastic. You got it.
Yeah. She said, oh, you look so very angry. I thought something was wrong with the drink. I said, no, nothing wrong with the drink. I said, I want to say, I am pissed off about the behavior and the shit going on I'm looking at. I couldn't say that, Eric. I couldn't say that.
Really? Right.
I couldn't
Yeah.
say that. I'm like, She's like, you look very angry. Is something wrong with the drink? I'm like,
Everything
nah,
is
the drink.
there with the drink.
And, and let me tell you, Airtime, the place was phenomenal. Beautiful place, Airtime. Gorgeous. I mean, beautiful Airtime. If it wasn't for the racism shit I seen, I was like, man, this is nice. But the
Right,
racism was so palpable. It was so overwhelming.
right.
I, I just wanted to smack me somebody in the head up in there.
So I'm so excited or basically fascinated about this generation because we were talking about it this morning. People are
Hmm.
questioning things. Young kids are questioning things. They know what's happening in regards to the colonization that happened back in the days, even right now, and everything the government is doing, the puppet leaders, everybody's working in regards to what's happening. And I believe it's just to voice it out and basically continue
It
to
is the
educate
change.
other
The
people
change.
about what's
Exactly. They're trying to
happening.
change it. Exactly. They're
Hmm.
trying to change is coming, and that's why everybody's
Yeah,
so scared. That's why the puppet leaders are scared. Why the white man is scared. That's why he's trying to offer you these seats up in the UN because he's
yeah,
scared. You're waking up. See, you taking
yeah,
back Africa, Irritan. You go from poor to rich.
yeah.
That's who you are. You come from wealth, Irritan. You
Hmm.
come from wealthy people. You don't come from poverty, Irritan. You come
Right.
from wealth.
That's a
You don't come
fact.
from you don't. Yes, that's a fact. I like I say, fact over feelings. I mean, you think fact over feelings. It's a fact. You don't come from poverty, Irritan. You come
Right.
from wealth. You come from abundance. That's what you come from. Even though they've stolen it and they made you believe you come from poverty and stupidity, that's a lie.
Right.
You come from wealth and abundance, and you come from the people that taught the world because you're loving. You didn't go teach the world to steal and kill their people. You went out to teach the world because everybody
Hmm.
couldn't read or write. You could. You created writing. You created
Yeah.
reading. So you went out and taught everybody how to read and write. That's what you
Facts.
did because you're loving.
Mm.
But they came back and knocked you over the head, knocked us over the head. So
But people are relearning and learning. The Nigerians during the protest, they were questioning that when they were being interviewed, like why we basically produce oil and why we poor, right?
exactly, you asked me questions. Thank you.
Minerals, like
Exactly.
why we poor and we have gold, the likes of a Burkina Faso. Like it's the questioning in regards to we have these minerals, but we're still crappy as
Poor.
hell, you know?
Exactly. You have everything. So exactly. So you start asking these questions.
Yeah,
You have all these minerals. The world is extracting all these minerals. Everybody else is wealthy, but we're not. So now you're going to be able to think the logical conclusion. Oh, I get it. They're stealing all our shit, and we're not getting anything. They're becoming wealthy off our shit.
right,
Yes. Yeah, now you got it. Shake it. Clap. Applause. Yes. They've been getting wealthy off your shit.
right.
Yes. You're not poor at all. Go ahead.
We're
You got
being
it. So
poor,
go ahead.
you know? And it's amazing that the generation right now, even the fact that the finance bill came, because nobody saw that coming, right? And we
True.
basically learned that it was basically
True.
a trigger. And understanding people know things. Go to all the social media platform. People are talking about what's happening, the African history, the African identity, a lot of things that guys are getting deeper into it. So
Exactly,
I
Ratan.
it's just
Exactly.
a matter of time and it's all gonna change.
Yeah, it's gonna
I'm
change. Period. And like I
yeah,
said, I might get hard on Africans and people. I already know the conclusion
yeah,
down the road that Africa will be free,
yeah,
Africa will be wealthy again, and Africa will once again rule this planet.
right.
I know that. I just might be mad about how slow it is. I might get mad to South Africans. I might call them stupid. God damn it, stop worshiping these crack. I might get angry,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
know the end result, Iraton. So let me make sure people understand. I know the end result that Africa will dominate this globe again. I
I
know
believe
that.
maybe that's why
But
they gave the
yeah,
Africans the seat of
of
the
course,
UN
of course
security
they try. Of course they're not doing for the. They're not doing it because they're trying to be good. They're trying
yeah.
to. That's called placate the African. Keep
Hmm.
you still in the child role and try to stop your development. They want to keep you closer every time so they can control your development. They don't want
Right.
you to develop.
Yeah.
So whole thing is that uh 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 you see the youth waking up all throughout Africa because you have one collective consciousness. You're not a Kenyan. You're not a
Mm,
Nigerian. You're not
that's
a Ghanaian. You're an African. You're not a
mm-hmm.
South African. All these borders were created by your oppressor. Was no
Right.
Ghana. Was no Uganda. Was no Ghana. I mean, was no Nigeria. Was no Kenya. Was no. These borders were all created by white people. You're African first. And that's what
Yeah.
the Africans are starting to realize. They're getting
Yeah.
rid of the youth are getting rid of that tribal shit. Tribal shit don't work. You gotta get rid of that shit. Your parents like, oh, your grandparents like, oh, wow. Hey, be quiet. So it's just the youth are gonna take over every time. It's just the
I agree.
fact. I'm sorry. And the youth of Africa are the majority of the planet every time.
Yeah.
That's why they try to give you VACCINEs and
Right.
Depop.
Yes. Just basically
Yeah,
full of top. Right. It makes
yeah,
sense.
because you're the one that they're trying to stop your ascension. They're trying
Right.
to stop the ascension of Africa. The Chinese are trying to stop it. Not as hard as the British. Everybody's trying to get their piece of Africa before you wake the fuck up and
Yes.
say Africa belongs to me. And that's what's happening. That's what's coming. Why
Right.
do you think they're trying to
You're
kill
right.
Ibram Traore every 3 days? Every 3 days there's an assassination attempt on his life.
Mm-hmm. But it's not going anywhere. It's time to redefine Africa as we redefine Africans, guys. We have to relearn deeper about our history, our identity, because I believe identity is a foundation to who you are as an African. If you don't have any understanding of who you are, you don't have a foundation. And that's why I feel like, not even I feel like, it's the way we've been actually being controlled because you don't
Yeah.
have the
We,
understanding of
we,
who you are.
exactly. When you don't know your history every time, you don't know who you are. So you got no. So you've been told a fake history that you never was shit. White man came and civilized you. You live your whole life, the last 20 years, under a fake, false narrative that's now left you up without confidence, which lets
Right.
you worshiping. You've now been worshiping a lesser people than you.
Mm,
You're worshiping a lesser people than you,
right.
and that's what's happened.
That's true, guys. But thank you guys for joining me on TikTok. I can see Papa Smooth. Thank you, General Mosquito, Jiva Jabber, Byron's Court, Juro. Thank you so much, Mr. Black Hot Fire. We are basically winding up on today's conversation, which was amazing, brilliant. And the factor or the main thing topping it up is basically it's important to know your African history and understand the African identity. As we always talk about it here on the Best Radio Station, the Black Heart Friend Network. Follow and download our app on Google Store, stream on www.blackheartfriendnetwork.com. Take care, much love, and have a beautiful afternoon. Mr. Blackheart Fire, anything to add as we wind up?
Yeah. I just want to say, guys, understand that our oppression has been global. So
Right.
me sitting in South Africa at that time, I
Mm,
understood that. I felt so attached to those people, and I know there for the grace of God goes me, because if I was born in South Africa, I would be in that same conditions every time.
yeah,
So I know through
right,
the grace of God, it's just a luck of the draw that I was born in America and not in
right.
South Africa. So
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I never get um I never believe I'm better than Africa. I'm such an African. Don't stop fighting amongst yourself. You're the same people. Get rid of the tribal shit. Mm.
Mm,
So as African people, love one another,
right.
come together,
Mm,
try to bridge our because I hear everybody talking about culture, this culture, that. People, you guys don't know culture. Stop talking this culture shit. You haven't been
right.
around the world. You don't know. You're nothing but you're really the same culture. You're nothing but aspects of that same culture. Kenyans is an aspect of African culture. Brazilians are an aspect of African culture. African Americans are aspects of African culture. Ghanaians are aspect. It's only really one culture, but you've been so dumbed down, so ignorant, you don't know that.
Right.
Luckily, I've been around the world and I've seen it's the aspects of the same goddamn culture. And why do you think you got chiefs in Kenya and chiefs in Ghana, chiefs in South Africa? Because it was the same culture.
Yeah.
And whatever they took from slavery into the new world, it wasn't new. The white man called it new. It wasn't no new world because we had already been over here too. So that culture went with those people. And they just added some more to that culture depending on the environment they found themselves in.
Right.
But you're so ignorant. You think, oh, that's their culture. They don't have any culture. Everybody's African has African culture. I hate to tell you that. I've seen it all over the world. So understand, you're aspects of the same fucking culture. Get that out of your head. You're doing fake divisional shit because you've never been anywhere. So you haven't observed that. That's what poverty does to us. You're not able to go observe other African people in their day-to-day lives.
Some have.
Luckily, good. Some have. I'm not saying, but the majority of us have not. I'm not saying that everybody. I'm not saying. I'm saying the majority of us irritate, not everybody. Irritate always get me. Some of us have. I'm not saying not everybody irritate. I'm thinking for the majority. The majority of black people. Listen, irritate. The majority of black people in America don't even have a passport. Irritate. They never even left. Yeah, the majority of Americans haven't left their own state irritate. You got 50 states. Most black Americans have never left the state they live in. Let's say I grew up in LA, irritate, in California, right?
Yeah.
Most people from LA have never been across the country to New York. They don't even know the culture of New York, black people, or black people in Florida, or black people in Chicago. Because of the poverty. They haven't even been outside their state, irritate. So I'm just saying,
okay,
as you go around the country, around the world, it's all the same fucking culture. All it is just aspects of that one culture. It takes on different attributes. That's why I want to say attributes. Okay? Attributes. Because of from time and distance, cultures take on other attributes depending on the environment. You know, you might be near a mountain. I might be near the water. So the culture is going to take on a different environment, a different attribute because of the environment. You in a mountainous region. I'm down by the water in Africa. So it's going to take on the same culture, but it's taking on different aspects because it had to adapt to the environment.
All right.
But overall, it's the same culture. So when you see African women in the Zulus with their breast out, most Africans had their breast out all over Africa. That was the norm. From Kemet, what you see up in Egypt today, Kemet, and you know them people are not Egyptians, them fake motherfuckers up there. Egyptians didn't dress like that.
As we're winding up.
That's it. So much love, guys.
Much love. Thank you so much, Mr. Black of Fire, Jibba Jabber, Byron, General Mosquito, Gerald. Thank you guys on TikTok for listening and basically joining us in this conversation. Remember to relearn your history because it's basically the foundation of who we are. And follow us on our social media platform to find amazing and powerful conversation in regards to the African. Much love. See you on the
Shout out to Airtime. Hey, Airtime, is it sunny today? Is it cloudy?
It's moderate.
Cloudy. Oh, partly. Okay, partly cloudy. But you can still put your bottles of water out there and let the sun hit it when it can. And what it does, that's going to energize your water. And let it sit out there about 24 hours, and then you chill it to how you want to drink it. You want to drink it warm or cold, then you chill it, and that's going to energize your water.
Okay, cool. Definitely. I'll do that. Much love, family.
So what? I understand why there's no alkaline water in Africa.
You are a true perfection. Baby, you made of stars. Don't let nobody tell you different. You are a lot of soul. Mixed with a lot of
Airtime. Let me say something again. Airtime. Do you know where? Have you outside the city in the village? Do you know where?